Carl mentioned yesterday's bold move of the Republican candidate going to Gettysburg. We have a little bit from that. Let's take a look.
First, a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Second, a hiring freeze on all federal employees to reduce federal workforce through attrition, exempting military, public safety, and public health. Third, a requirement that for every new federal regulation, 2 existing regulations must be eliminated. Fourth, a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government service. Fifth, a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government.
So that was the policy piece.
And there's a lot there that Republicans would feel very nice about.
In fact, Newt Gingrich tweeted that it was the most policy substantive reform since 1980. No, he was generous. He said since 1980 with a Ronald Reagan speech. But then as Carl Cameron was saying that Donald Trump...
There were other things said. There were other things said.
We have a quick look at that.
It's my privilege to be here in Gettysburg, hallowed ground where so many lives were given. Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign. Total fabrication. All of these liars will be sued after the election is over.
So, Chris, here's the thing. So the Trump campaign is very frustrated with the media because it says it's not covering the substance. And that part wasn't written into the speech, but he couldn't help himself.
Well, I mean, the Trump, what he gave, the idea to say, we're staking it all on the line. It's late in the game. We're going to Gettysburg. And by the way, Gettysburg is significant. People who believe that what we do matters in history and what people do matter in history, we think about Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain on the Little Round Top, swings the gate, turns back the charge, and prevents Robert E. Lee and the Army of the Northern Virginia driving further into Union territory, making opportunities to sue for peace. You can see how the 1864 election turns out differently. You can see how all of these things happen differently as a result of the courage and fortitude and preparation of one man, one unit, one place. It's amazing. American history.
It's and then the speech that Abraham Lincoln gave, it's engraved at the memorial.
There is, and I think I can say this without fear of rightful correction, the single greatest piece of political oratory in American history and in the history of the world would certainly argue for a very top spot.
All right, I won't argue.
And he did it in less than 3 minutes.
Okay.
Now, we can't do a segment about Senate races in 3 minutes, and Reagan did that. So by Trump going there, that's a bold statement that is claiming the birthright, the most valuable, sacred birthright of his party. And what I don't understand, his campaign was right to say, we're late, we're down, let's go. What are we going to do? Let's go to Gettysburg. Let's make the big claim. Let's claim Lincoln. Let's go to the place. Why would you talk about the sex stuff?
Well,
why would you talk about that? I do not understand that.
It didn't. I don't think it necessarily helped him. And if you look at the ABC poll that came out this morning, I think we have a look at that. This is a poll that came out today showing Hillary Clinton up 12 points over Donald Trump. And
that's
yet,
a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. I want to also show you the halftime report average.
A little perspective.
Because it shows a much closer race than that. So I wanted to ask you, given what Carl Cameron was saying, that Donald Trump is within the margin of error of several of these places, he's still in the hunt, this is not over yet. How much does a poll like the ABC poll matter at this point?
Well, I mean, the poll matters in the sense that when you put it into that average, when you make our delicious Slim Jim of polling, it's balanced off by other polls that say Trump is... There's actually one poll, which is adorable, that has Trump winning right now, when every other poll, I think it's the IBD poll, every other poll says he's down. Is he down 6? Is he down 12? Is he down 4?
I think it was Rasmussen and
well,
IBD
we don't even talk about that.
We don't.
We don't even talk
other shows
about
might.
That. That's not
but we won't do it here.
Well, we just want to deal with the real stuff. So
your average shows him about a 6-point difference.
At about a little more than 6 points down. I think one of the things that creates the misunderstandings about polling, though, and I hear this all the time, a person I love, a person to whom I'm related, that I had a telephone conversation with today.
You know who you are.
Who said, and you know who you are, JNS, that said to me, well, maybe it's off and maybe it's all wrong. And things like that they had sampled more Democrats in that than Republicans. Well, of course they sampled more there ended up being more Democrats than Republicans in the samples. You know why?
Because there are more Democrats than Republicans?
Not just because there's more Democrats and Republicans in America, but also, daggone it, and this is what makes me so mad, we don't screen for whether there's Democrats or Republicans in the sample. That's not a question that pollsters ask. We never ask that question. We ask how you're voting, and then at the end we say, okay, do you consider yourself a Republican or a Democrat? The better a Democrat's doing, the more people consider themselves Democrats. The better a Republican's doing, the more people consider themselves Republicans, because you get melt-off from the middle. And Hillary Clinton is having a good run, Donald Trump's having a bad run, so it wouldn't be surprising that there's more Democrats.
If you, at this point, though, would you look at national polls or state polls if you were looking? Because he's got, as Carl was saying, Donald Trump's going to be in Florida and really work in that state. She's going to be in North Carolina. Those are the states that they're obviously worried about.
You could do it either way. I could preach it round or I could preach it flat. You could say do the whole country. You could say do the whole country, and it's a big enough margin right now that you say, well, this will take care of itself underneath. Or you could just be lazy and you could pick one state and say, or actually you could pick one county. I'll give you two counties.
Okay.
You could pick Hillsborough County, Florida.
Okay.
And you could pick Franklin County, Ohio. Tell me how they're voting. We'll be all good.
All right. Well, that is interesting. Everybody should go Google those two counties right now.